All right, so you're back with us for another deep dive.
Back again.
And as always, we've got something pretty interesting to go over today.
Yeah, this one caught my eye, I gotta say.
So this is about tuxedos.
Tuxedos.
And specifically, we're looking at a blog post here from Darianna Bridal and Tuxedo.
Right out of Warrington, PA.
Exactly.
Which, if you're in the Philly area, that's where you want to go.
Yeah, for sure. And they are talking about a specific tuxedo that they're offering that's new for this year.
Yeah, brand new. This is the Marzotto Midnight Blue Vittoria.
Okay. Vittoria, Vitoia.
That's right.
Vittoria. Okay.
Yep. So
fancy.
Yeah, very fancy. And, I'm intrigued because they're already getting a lot of interest in this one, even though it's, early in the season for spring 2025.
Right. Yeah, they're saying that bookings are already coming in strong for weddings and special events.
Yeah, so that piqued my interest. I got to know, what is it about this particular tuxedo?
Right, yeah. Like, what's the big deal? So let's just jump right into it.
Let's do it.
So first of all, the fabric.
Yeah, this is a big deal.
This is Italian Marzotto premium stretch wool.
Okay, so a couple things. First of all, Marzotto has been making fabrics since 1836 in Italy.
Wow, 1836. That's a long time.
That's a long time, and that means that you're getting quality, you're getting expertise. They've been doing it for a long time, so they know what they're doing.
Right, and it's not just any wool, it's stretch wool.
Exactly, and that's important because you're going to be wearing this thing for a while. You're at a wedding, you're at a formal event. You don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, you don't want to feel restricted.
You want to be able to move around and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stretch wool is going to give you that comfort and flexibility.
Okay, so then they also talk about the lapel.
The lapel, yes. This is a fay notch lapel.
Fay, okay, now, I'm not a tuxedo expert, so what is fay?
So fay is a type of fabric that has a subtle ribbed texture.
Okay.
So it's not like a smooth satin. It's got a little bit of texture to it.
So it's not completely matte, but it's not super shiny either.
Exactly. It's kind of like a middle ground.
Okay.
And it's a notched lapel, which is the classic V-shaped lapel.
Right.
So it's a traditional look, but with a little bit of a modern twist.
Okay, so it's kind of like a subtle detail that sets it apart.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
What about the buttons? Because they mentioned the buttons specific.
Yes, the buttons are covered in the same fabric as the tuxedo.
Oh, so they're not like those shiny plastic buttons you sometimes see?
No, these are nice fabric-covered buttons.
Okay.
And it's a 2-button jacket.
Okay.
Which is, the standard for a modern tuxedo.
Gotcha. So it's all about those little details that add up to that really polished look.
Exactly. And speaking of details, let's talk about the color.
Yeah, the color is really what drew me to this in the first place, that midnight blue.
Yeah, it's a beautiful color. It's a little bit different than your traditional black tuxedo.
Right, it's not quite neg, it's not quite black. It's somewhere in between.
Yeah, it's like a deep, rich blue.
Yeah, very sophisticated.
And they say that brides and grooms are really excited about the styling possibilities with this color.
I bet, because you can do a lot with that.
Yeah, you can go with a lot of different color schemes for your wedding. You can do different accessories. It's very versatile.
Okay, so speaking of accessories, let's talk about the pants and the vest options and all that.
All right, so the pants are a matching midnight blue.
Okay.
And they have a slim fit, which is, very contemporary.
Right.
And they've got an adjustable waistband and belt loops.
Okay, that's good because, sometimes you might need a little bit of adjustment there.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, if it's a destination wedding and you're dealing with different climates and, you might fluctuate a little bit.
Yeah, or, if you have a big meal.
Exactly.
You need a little extra room.
So that's a nice feature. And you have the option of either a matching vest or a cummerbund.
Okay.
So you can kind of choose how formal you want to go.
Right.
And then, of course, you have the option of a bow tie or a long tie.
And it's the same fabric as the lapel.
Exactly. So it all ties together really nicely.
Yeah, I love when they think about those little details.
Yeah, it shows attention to detail, and it makes you feel like you're wearing a really well-made garment.
Right. It's not just thrown together. It's like they really thought about every element.
Exactly.
Okay, so we talked about the fabric being Marzotto and it being from Italy, and they've been around since 1836.
Right.
Why should I, as the listener, care about that?
Well, I think it's important because it speaks to the quality of the garment.
Okay.
When you have a company that's been making fabrics for that long, it means they're doing something, right?
Right.
They've perfected their craft. They know what they're doing.
Right.
And they're using the best materials. So, when you're buying a tuxedo made with Marzotto fabric, you're getting something that's going to last. You're getting something that's going to look good, and you're getting something that's going to feel good to wear.
So it's an investment piece.
Exactly.
It's not just a one-time wear.
Right.
Okay, so it's not just about the midnight blue. They also have this Marzotto fabric in classic black.
That's right. If you're more of a traditionalist and you want to go with the classic black tuxedo, they've got you covered.
Okay.
And they have both notch lapels and peak lapels in the black.
Oh, okay, so you have some options there.
Yes, and the peak lapels have a satin lapel.
Oh, very nice. So it's like a little bit more formal.
Exactly. So you've got some choices to make.
Right.
But no matter what you choose, you're getting that high-quality Marzotto fabric.
Okay, so if you're going with the midnight blue, what about accessories? Do you have to stick with black, or can you do other colors?
That's a good question, and, a lot of people wonder about that.
Right.
Can you wear brown shoes with a blue tuxedo? And the answer is yes, you can.
Okay.
It's not a hard and fast rule anymore. In fact, a lot of people prefer brown shoes with a blue tuxedo because it's a little less stark than black.
Okay.
And it can look really sharp.
So it's kind of a softer look?
Exactly. And you can also coordinate your tie color with the tuxedo or with the wedding colors.
Oh, okay. So there's a lot of flexibility there?
Yeah, you've got a lot of options.
Okay.
But if you do want to go with the traditional black accessories, you can certainly do that too. You can do black shoes, black bow tie, black studs, and it can look very elegant.
Right. It's all about personal preference.
Exactly.
Okay, so if somebody's listening and they're like, okay, I'm sold, I want the Vittoria, when can I get it?
Well, they're saying that the estimated delivery time is mid-April 2025.
Okay, so we're still a little bit out.
Yeah, but, they're taking their time to make sure that everything is perfect.
Right, they're doing quality assurance.
Exactly. They want to make sure that every tuxedo is up to their standards.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so you can be confident that when you get your Vittoria, it's going to be a high-quality garment.
And it's going to fit perfectly.
Exactly.
Okay, so they mentioned a couple other blue options that they have available, just in case people are, looking for different shades or styles.
Right. So they have the Ike Behar Sebastian tuxedo, which is a navy blue tuxedo suit.
Okay.
So that's a little bit lighter blue than the midnight blue.
Right.
And then they also have a range of blue suits if you're not looking for a full tuxedo.
Oh, okay.
But they make it clear that the Vittoria is their best option for a dark blue tuxedo.
Okay, so if you want that dark blue, that's the one to go for.
That's the one.
Okay, now at the end of the blog post, they have this personal note from the co-founder and owner, Franco Salerno.
Yeah, I love that he's so passionate about this tuxedo.
Yeah, and he's been dressing people for formal occasions for years.
He said tens of thousands of people.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's talking about.
He's an expert.
Exactly, and he says that he's planning to wear the Vittoria himself to his next formal event.
Wow.
And his wife approves.
Okay, so it's got to be good.
Yeah, that's a good sign. And he even says that he's hoping for a midnight blue peak lapel version in the future.
Oh, interesting.
So, they're always thinking about how to improve their offerings.
Yeah, so even though the Vittoria right now is just the notch lapel, he's thinking about a peak lapel in the future.
Yeah, he's got his eye on the future.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So if you're listening and you're thinking, okay, I want to learn more about this Vittoria, what should you do?
Well, they have their contact info right there in the blog post.
Okay.
You can call or text them at 215-491-8500.
Easy.
Yeah, and you can schedule an appointment with one of their stylists.
Okay.
And they can help you figure out what's going to look best on you.
Yeah, because they really emphasize their stylists in the blog post.
Yeah, they say they have a really great team of stylists who are experts in formal wear.
So they're really there to help you,
Exactly.
no matter what you're looking for.
Whether you end up going with the Vittoria or something else entirely, they're going to help you find the perfect look.
So to wrap things up, what would you say is the big takeaway here about this Marzotto Midnight Blue Vittoria Tuxedo?
I think the big takeaway is that this is a really stylish and modern tuxedo
Okay.
that's made with high-quality materials.
Right.
And it's perfect for anyone who wants to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah. It's not your average tuxedo.
No, it's not. It's something special.
Yeah, and it's not just about the looks. It's about the feel, too.
Exactly. It's made with that stretch wool, so it's going to be comfortable to wear all night long.
Right?
And, they really put a lot of thought into the details.
Yeah, like those covered buttons and the matching tie and lapel fabric.
Exactly. All those little details make a big difference.
Right. It all adds up to a really sophisticated look.
Exactly.
Okay, so for all of you listening out there, think about this the next time you have a formal event.
Yeah.
How can you use your clothing to express your personal style?
That's a good question.
It's not just about wearing a tuxedo. It's about finding a tuxedo that reflects who you are.
Right.
The little details, the fabric, the color, the lapel, the accessories, they all say something about you.
Yeah, and they can make you feel more confident and more comfortable.
Exactly. So don't be afraid to experiment.
Try something new.
Yeah, and find what works for you.
And most importantly, have fun with it.
Exactly. Well, thanks for joining us for another Deep Dives.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See you later.